Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm of course your host Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a fantastic day, morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you happen to be watching this, and that you're looking after yourselves and one another. In this episode of the Music Den, in keeping with the previous segment that just aired on the Wham documentary, which again, by the way, is fantastic, I'm going to be doing a segment called Pop Confection. It's a one-off series episode segment. It may continue depending on how people like it. I don't know. But again, in keeping with the previous segment that just aired, I wanted to just go over. Um, I was going over in my mind the tracks that I was listening to uh, when I was younger in the 80s, like, 10, 12 years old. And I wanted to share with you some of the songs that you know, that I listen to. Now, growing up with three sisters, I've said this before, you are exposed to a lot of music. I had three older sisters, Anna, Dora, and Carmela, who were into music. And it was always on in the house, whether it be AM pop, FM rock, easy listening, uh, that dreaded word, disco music or dance music. Music was always on in the house. It didn't matter whether it was on television or whether it was on the radio, whether it was records. And there was most times when the girls would go to the mall, if I went with them or they went on their own, I would always ask them to buy me a record, whether it be a 45 or an album. It was always part of the the ritual of going to the mall. So I wanted to share with you my top five songs that I was listening to when I was in my early teens. And hopefully you like the list. And also you can, down below, down there, put your top five songs, or I could have done a top 10 list, but keep it the top five for right now. And just put your list down there. Tell me what you were listening to when you were coming up, growing up, in your teens. Could be from any era, obviously. Doesn't have to be from the 80s. For me, it is obviously the 80s. So, coming in at number five is a song from British pop band, part of the, I guess you call them, the new romantic scene from the early 80s. This was from their second album, released in 1983 through Polygram Mercury Records. The band is ABC, and the song is SOS. um, SOS was featured on ABC's second release, Beauty Stab. And unfortunately, Beauty Stab in North America didn't make much of a mark. I mean, it was popular, but compared to the Lexicon of Love, their debut release a year before, it really did not translate in terms of record sales. The number of sales were much lower. This was their second release from the album, released worldwide as a single. Um, the first release from this album was That Was Then, This Is Now. That Was Then, This Is Now is more of a rock oriented track, heavy drums, bass, guitar, really pounding beat, really rhythmic, but more of a heavier sound. SOS is more in the ballad vein in terms of the arrangement. Slow tempo, very keyboards, soft keyboards, I should say, textured keyboards. A very delicate approach, though, in terms of production, programmed drums. Again, textured layered keyboards mixed with acoustic guitar. Very beautiful, emotional track, very emotive as well. And you also have a fantastic saxophone solo on this track. And it's a very beautiful, I call it almost a love song, because in on in the lyrics, so I was going to say on the track, in the lyrics, the person is saying to their partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, let's break down and forget everything that's going on around us, all the tension, all the frustration, all of the things that are keeping us busy and keeping us away from one another. And let's just concentrate on me and you. Let's break it down to the bare minimum and down to basics, and just concentrate on what you and I have together as a couple. Now, that could also apply to friendship. Okay. For me, whenever I hear this track, I am always transported back to 1983. This track, as much as the album was not as popular in North America, this video, this was a year prior to Much Music starting up in Canada. It was aired quite regularly on video music shows, which at the time there were a plenty, you know. So for me, this song always brings back memories of that time frame. And again, it is a beautiful, beautiful track. You can get this album, Beauty Stab, along with the other albums I'm going to mention on this list from these artists on Amazon. And I know for a fact on Amazon, eBay, Discogs, I know for a fact that there is a reissue version of Beauty Stab with extra bonus tracks on the disc. But that's number 5. Coming in at number 4 is a song that was released, I think around 81, 82. I'd say around 81. And the individual who did this track, it was his debut single, and his look was very otherworldly. The individual is Gary Newman, and this track is from his album The Pleasure Principle, and the track is Cars. Gary Newman, when he came out, as I said, had a very otherworldly look. Short black hair, combed immaculately, every hair in place. Almost a very pale complexion, pretty much. Eye makeup, black eyeliner. He looked very much not of this world, and purposely so. The track is very new wave oriented. A lot of keyboard textures, a lot of swirling keyboard passages. There is a sound effect that happens that's supposed to mimic a hand clap on the track. And it's used on the choruses when he's singing. And even when he's singing the verses, I almost want to say it's almost robotic the way he's trying to sing it. It's very sort of very deliberate approach on the vocal, but also very, again, robotic kind of feel to it. And it's got to be said, when this song came out, it was all over the place. All over the place. I had a brother-in-law at the time who would bring in his ghetto blaster, his boombox, and would play tapes for us. And this song was featured quite heavily on one of his tapes, where it was mixed in between this song and another song, Let's Groove by Earth, Wind and Fire. Okay. So this song, when it came out, however, it was all over the place. It was on, this was pre-Much Music. So it was all over the video music shows on at the time, primarily a show called The New Music. Unfortunately, as many as albums that Gary Newman has released, and he's been quite prolific, he was more popular in Europe and in the UK as opposed to North America. This, I do believe, is Cars is his most popular track in North America. Coming in at number 3 is a track from a band. They released their debut album in 1980 from England. This song is quite interesting due to the fact that the arrangement of it, the instrumentation of it, it's quite unique on this list, and a quite unique single. The group is Dexy's Midnight Runners, and the track is Come On Eileen. Dexy's Midnight Runners were signed to Phonogram in the UK. This is, I believe, their second album, 2IA. Come On Eileen was the lead-off single. Again, it was very unique in its production instrumentation because it featured live instruments. It starts off with the violin intro, and then drums come in, bass, and then it goes into the song, and you hear a lot of instrumentation like live drums, banjo, acoustic piano. And it's just a very unique song. And even in the vocal delivery of Kevin Rowland, the lead singer, I, for one, had a very difficult time understanding what he was saying in the verses. All I could understand was what he was saying in the choruses. And it was just his vocal delivery, his cadence, the way he sang. It was very difficult to understand. Unless you had the lyric sheet in front of you, you couldn't understand what he was saying. But this song was catchy. It had a hook, it had melody, it had a good pace to it. And it's got to be said, this song lyrically, I don't want to say it was controversial, but I guess you could say it was risque, because he was singing about, in the verses, basically what he was saying was that he wanted to get in her pants. The chorus goes, come on, Eileen, at this moment you mean everything. Again, come on, Eileen, my thoughts verge on dirty. So he's got the hots for this girl, and he wants to get in her pants, right? So it's the bulk of the song, but the song was very catchy. Okay, very hooky. And unfortunately for this group, it was their one and only hit in North America. They've had other singles and hits in the UK and in Europe, I would imagine, but in North America, this was their one and only hit. Coming in at number 2 was a song that when it was released, it was the bomb. Okay. It was the song to come out in 1981/82. I believe it was 81. At the time, there was nothing like this song around that I can remember. Prior to this, I remember hearing uh, Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. But this song was everywhere when it came out. And it's from the Human League. And the song is Don't You Want Me? Released from their album Dare. This song, again, when it came out, it made such a bloody impact on the charts that it exploded. Human League, I believe, had been around since 1977. And this was their breakthrough single and breakthrough album. This was the only album that I remember looking through the notes. My brother-in-law at the time, same Mario, who had the boombox, had this album, and I remember looking at the production information on the album, and I remember seeing a listing of what went into this album, and it was all keyboards and drum machines. No live instrumentation on this track whatsoever. It was unreal. And it had melody. It had a hell of a hook, a hell of a chorus, and it was all over the place. You could not get away from it. There were other singles released from this album. Love Action, I Believe in Love. Open Your Heart, which was the second single that also had a video for it. But Don't You Want Me was the single for it. It's got to be said too, the lead singer, Philip Oakey, had also a somewhat androgynous look. The short black hair, the makeup, the blush, the lipstick, the earring, that was like a hook at one point, or like a chain. It was eye-catching, and it did make an impact. And I mean, as good as it was, and it was good. I mean, this track was all over the dance floors when it came out. When you look at the lyrics, and when you look at the lyrics for the next one that's coming up, it's pretty dark. I mean, the guy's basically saying in this song that, you better return your, romantic feelings for me as I have for you, because if you don't, I'll put you back where I found you. You'll regret it if you do not return your love to me as I love you. And he's basically stalking her in the song. So lyrically, it's very dark. It's very foreboding. The video shows him making her a star in commercials and saying to her, "Why don't you want me? We're so good together." And she's saying to him, "I have to go. I have to leave." And the vocal is delivered beautifully by Suzanne Sully. If you know the Human League, she is the blonde of the two women in the Human League, of the backup singer. But this song did make an impact. And in 1982, producer Martin Rushand put together a dance compilation album called Love and Dancing, featuring a 7-minute plus version of this song at the end of side one. This song was a hit. This version, this dance version, and you can get it on you can get this album also on Amazon. I have a double version of Dare and 11 Dancing Together. This song, this version of it, sorry, is fantastic. It is a dance classic. It's number 2. Coming into number 1 is a song that when it was first released in 1982 as a single, it barely cracked the top 40. And I really don't know why. When the second single was released, it hit the top 10. And then the record company, Warner Brothers, wanting to capitalize on that success of the top 10 second single, re-released, this single. And I think it went up to number 15 in the charts. The album and the single did eventually make a huge impact, going triple platinum. I think 4 times platinum, in North America, in America. The artist is Prince, and the single is 1999. This single song was influenced by Prince and his band doing a performance one night, going back to the Holiday Inn that they were staying at, watching a program on HBO that was, and HBO at the time was pretty I would say brand new. This movie that they watched featured a opening statement from Orson Welles, and it talked about the coming apocalypse, the end of the world that was supposed to happen in the year 1999. And, are you ready for this? Is this going to happen? When this does happen, where will you be? Will you be ready for this? How will you save yourself or your family from this happening? So Prince, here watching this movie, was quite affected by it. And he wrote a song about it. And this song, when it came out, this was when I first heard about Prince. And when I first saw the video, I was just, him standing there in the trench coat and the heels and just the whole spectacle of the video. It was just, what is this? What he created was, in my opinion, a masterpiece. In 3 minutes and 13 seconds, it is pop, it is R&B, it is dance, it is funk. It covers all these genres. He wrote it within 24 hours. And yes, it is written using, drum machines, the Lin 1 drum machine. But the sound of the drums on this track are massive. They're huge. That combined with the wall of sound from the keyboards, from the underpinning synth line that Dr. Fink does. On top of that, you have the melody of the keyboards that Lisa Coleman is playing. Just a massive wall of sound. Okay, delivered beautifully. And the vocals that were done, that were they were trade-offs between Joe Jones, Lisa Coleman, Des Dickerson, the guitarist, and Prince. And the original idea was that each person was going to sing a line together. They were all, sorry, I'll reverse that. They were all going to sing it in unison, in harmony, just like a wall of vocals. Prince, just before they recorded this, changed his mind and said, okay, Jill and Lisa, you sing this line. I was dreaming when I wrote this. Des, you sing when I woke up this morning. I thought it was Judgment Day. And then Prince took the line of the sky was all purple. There were people running everywhere. You know, it had an impact. I mean, the song itself is talking about the oncoming of, you know, destruction and war and bombs falling from the sky, you know, the sky turning purple, you know, the apocalypse coming. What are they going to do? They're going to dance their life away. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. It's going to happen. So we might as well enjoy ourselves while we can. Lyrically, it is heavy. Musically, it is perfection. Okay, it is exactly what you want for a pop song. It is catchy. It is melodic. It is danceable. It is anything and everything that you want in a pop song. So, and for me, I just gotta say, as much as I like the 3-minute 13 version, I always preferred the 6-minute 55-second album version, where it starts off with the low pitched vocal of "Don't worry, I won't hurt you. I only want you to have some fun," and then it goes into the track. And I mean, at the end of the track, they're all doing the gangsta vocals, you know, yeah, singing and having a good time. It is an amazing piece of work. Okay. You may like Prince, you may not like Prince, but you know something? He had an ability to create, much like George Michael, he had an ability to create a pop track, a dance track, I should say, like no other person could. Had a good sense of timing, good sense of rhythm, and he created for me a timeless piece of pop confection. All right, so that is my list. I'll go over it again. Number 5, SOS from ABC. Number 4, Cars from Gary Newman. Number 3, Come On Eileen from Dexys Midnight Runners. Number 2, Don't You Want Me from Human League. And number 1, 1999 from Prince. So that is my list. I may do more of these. I may not. I don't know. But I just wanted to share with you what I was listening to and what I still listen to today. My musical tastes go all over the map. I don't listen to just one genre. So if you're interested, please put down there, yes, down below, what your top 5 songs were that you were listening to when you were coming up and starting to get into music. Again, it could be from any genre, any time frame. There are no limits to this. So again, hope you guys are having a great day. Please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for any new content that I've got coming up. I'm going to be doing a video with Peter Kent from the Lizard King channel. We're taping on Friday. We're going to be talking about Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here, the 1975 masterpiece, I think. We're going to analyze the record and just talk about what we feel. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching the Led Zeppelin album ranking version 2.0. I want to thank you very much for that. It's a great video. And I'm also going to be doing another segment of Impact, albums that changed modern music. And I'm going to be discussing Black Sabbath. I don't know which album. I think I have an idea, but I'm going to keep that under wraps until I do the video. So for now, please do me a favor. Look after yourselves. and one another. And hopefully you guys having a great day. I will talk to you very soon. Have a good day. Bye for now.